Let's see where this first food memory takes us. Sundays in Chinatown.
Oh, Sundays in Chinatown. I mean, it was really hard to only come up with 3 memories. I think I wrote about 10. But yeah, I mean, Chinatown to me, I wanted to talk about Chinatown because it's become like a very important place for me. It's like a safe place, particularly having moved to a different city and done that 2 times actually. Chinatown is somewhere I come back to feel safe and to feel like I'm home. And even though the cities like New York is nothing like Sydney, but Chinatown kind of smells and feels the same, sounds the same. I can hear the same kind of noises around me. And so, yeah, I grew up. I mean, Chinatown, Sydney now is not what it was.
No.
I'm realising.
How far is this memory going back? Because I remember when Chinatown was where UTS, like Paddy's Market was on the other side.
That.
Yeah.
Probably before that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I actually went to UTS. That area, that whole area, when my dad came to Australia, he actually lived on Campbell Street opposite the Capitol Theatre.
Yes.
Up above Wing On.
Yeah.
Because he worked for Wing On. He's from...
Was Cyril's there, the cheese shop? Do you remember Cyril's on the corner opposite?
I don't, actually.
He was the Hungarian... I think he was Hungarian. He had a cheese shop there and it was a Hungarian deli.
Oh,
literally, there were those...
Was that on the side of where the Capitol Theatre...
Across the road.
Oh, wow. Maybe I do remember it. But that area is all so special to me. Because, you know, like every Sunday, we lived in the suburbs, like my dad, we would get dressed up. My dad always wore like a 3-piece suit. He drove an orange Falcon and, you know, we would pile in the car and go to Chinatown and eat. Like in the early days, it was 9 Dragons. That was on Dixon Street. On the northern end, I don't know if 9 Dragons is even there. I think it might be, but I'm not that, you know, I haven't been to China, like that end of Chinatown for a long time because, you know, it probably doesn't have the best Chinese restaurants anymore, but yeah, they were really great memories. And we did that religiously. And then from there, we would go on to my like cousin's house on the North Shore. And it was a whole thing and it was really special. And I love rituals. Sometimes we would go to like Burlington to the supermarket.
I lament the closure of that supermarket.
I know. And it was just like, I love any supermarket or grocery store.
Now, I love this second food memory. This is actually straight in we are children of the same era. Your second memory is revolving restaurants and hotel buffets.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that like, I actually wrote about this, not in the book, but I just wrote about it recently because I read a review about this revolving restaurant in New York called The View. Very original name. And I didn't know it existed until I read the review. It was in the New York Times, actually. And I wasn't so fast, pulled out my phone and made a reservation. Like, why? Why did I do that? Because I have incredible memories of revolving restaurants from when I was a kid, I'm trying to remember how old I was, but it was before my father passed away. He passed away when I was 15. But in the years just preceding his death, he started taking us to...
Did you know he was dying at this time?
Well, he had cancer and then there was a remission period. My parents never told us anything, of course, so we just thought he was okay. But I do remember my siblings and I thinking, why are we eating at all these expensive restaurants? And I don't think he wasn't sick again, but there was... Perhaps, and I don't know this for sure, but perhaps there was a switch in him. You know, like we were a working class immigrant family living in the suburbs of Sydney. We didn't have a lot. We had enough. My father worked 2 jobs. My father worked at the markets. I mean, we had a lot of great food because he worked at the markets, you know, at the produce markets. But eating at revolving restaurants and hotel buffets was not something we did. So there was this... But we loved it. You know, we'd get dressed up. We now polyester suits and big hair and go and Centrepoint Tower and.
What was the restaurant? I can remember the Summit.
The Summit.
See you at the Summit.
Summit's the one I loved.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a buffet.
Yeah.
And we would get there. We'd go to our table. We'd put a fork on the outer rim So we would see how long it would take to come back around to us.
Of the restaurant?
Yes!
Wow. How long did it take?
Usually about an hour, 45 minutes. Like towards the end of the meal, it would come back around. But like just all these foods that I never ate at home, you know, like Western food, like someone carving some meat and, you know, like roasted vegetables and all salads, so like a salad bar, like these creamy soups, all these things. It was like a playground. So I have such wonderful memories of that. And so when I saw that New York had, and look, this is not a new restaurant. It's been around for a long time and it's gone through many iterations, but it's now a restaurant that kind of offers, I would call it like New York brasserie food, like steaks and, you know, your sides of cream spinach and potato gratin and that type of thing. So I went with very low expectations just on a random, very steamy, hot July Sunday. And I took my kids there, and for me, it was so nostalgic. I loved every moment of it. I actually didn't even care what the food tasted like.
It wasn't about the food. It was...
Yeah, it was just about reliving and also very consciously creating those memories for my kids. I want them to have like memories that kind of tie the generations together. We also go to the Centrepoint Towers sometimes. I heard it was being
redone, and Mark Best has done a number on it, and it's really sexy now.
Is it still a buffet?
I don't think it's a buffet. I think it's a little bit more. But
does the buffet still put a fork? Exist? Is it on another floor?
No, I don't think so. But there are a number of quite good buffets in this city. Probably not to how as we remember them. But my buffet memories are the first time I ever tried bacon chips. Do you remember those little salty little bacon chips?
Yep.
And that was in the Sizzler chain.
Sizzler, I remember Sizzler.
Do you remember?
Yes, we are from the same generation.
So
it was such a craze.
Can we talk about your third food memory? Because I actually feel like I want to eat one of these right now. They're these deep fried glutinous rice balls, something that your mother made. What are they called?
They're called dieu, and they're made of glutinous rice, and they're deep fried. And the reason I put it on the list is because for me, it's a very, it's an olfactory memory. Like she would make them for like the Lunar Chinese New Year. It's a special, you know, we don't eat deep fried food every day, but it's a special memory from a celebration day. So it can be Chinese New Year, birthdays. She'd get up early and make these deep fried balls, and she has a certain way of frying them. And I remember we lived in a 2-story house. And I remember waking up in my bedroom, which was upstairs, and smelling the oil, like the smell of the oil drifting through the house. And that's when you go, oh, that's a good day, because she's got the oil out and she's deep frying. So I often call them my deep fried memories. But yeah, and this is like something that I learnt to make through like watching YouTube videos and things. Like she never really showed me how to make them. And I always thought, you know, you often think to yourself, there's a romance. You say, oh, my mum taught me how to make all these things, and she taught me how to make plenty of things, but there's also plenty of things I've kind of bulldozed my way into. Like I've taken these memories of like, I'm going to learn to make this, even if she's far away and can't show me, or she doesn't particularly want to show me. But this particular smell is something that I want my kids to also know. And so
you make these too at home?
I make these for Chinese New Year now, but I make it my own way. And my mum, when she sees photos of them, she'll always say, and I say it for her now, it's like, yes, I know they're too dark. And, you know, I say to her, because yours would always deflate within half an hour, but mine last all day long because I've deep fried them further. But I remember her making them so distinctly, and she has, so it's kind of similar to the glutinous rice balls that you would get at Yum Cha they often sometimes have black sesame paste or red bean, but these are savory. So, and they're very distinct. Like she had this technique of kind of flattening them so they could expand. So hers were like big, like almost like cricket ball size. And so like that's something that I now make. I make them not very often, like once or twice a year. And, you know, it's like a certain pride in like kind of bringing that food into my home and my context, which is slightly different. Like I don't need to make them exactly the same way as her, but I've improved. I've improved on her recipe.